Throughout the video, we will be explaining about the concept, strength, weaknesses, issue of federalism in Malaysia and how to solve it. Before we go further, we would like to introduce ourselves.
Assalamualaikum, my name is AINA HUMAIRA binti FAIZAL. My metric number 2021109473.
Hi, my name is NABILAH binti RAZI. My matrix number is 2021123251.
Assalamualaikum, my name is MAISARAH binti RAZAK. Matrix number is 2021111365.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURUL binti ZAINI. My metric number is 2021110995.
In general, federalism means administrative system that runs by the government in every country to manage their country effectively and efficiently in order to serve their citizens. Federalism concept is based on three levels of hierarchy. The highest level is the federal government, followed by the state government, and lastly is the local government. Executive body runs by the cabinet. The role of the executive body is to formulate the national policy. As example, the Minister of Housing and Local Government formulated the national housing policy to ensure that all Malaysians, particularly the low-income groups, have access to adequate and affordable shelter. Other than that, they present the budget that includes the government's estimate of revenue and spending in the new policy initiative. The emergency issue that need immediate action. The closest example that we are facing right now, which is the movement control order that have been announced by our Prime Minister to control the spread of the COVID-19. Legislative body runs by the Parliament that consists of two houses, which is the House of Representatives and House of Senate. Besides debating the bills, the functions of Parliament is to amend the Constitution, do the budgeting, and to create the new policies. The most important role of judiciary is to protect the supremacy of the Constitution, to make sure everyone obeys the Constitution, and also to interpret the Constitution. The executive body in state government acts as the state cabinet that called EXCO. During election, every state need to vote two people to represent the executive body in the state government and also for the federal government. The assemblies have the power to enact the state laws as provided for by the Constitution of Malaysia. The judiciary in state government commonly specified to the Islamic law, personal and family laws of person who professing the religion of Islam. Some of the Islamic laws including the marriage, divorce, adoption, guardianship and etc.
Some of the examples of city council are Kuala Lumpur City Council, Ipoh City Council and Alor City Council. Some examples of Municipal Council of Sungai Petani, Municipal Council of Muar, Municipal Council of Segamat. Meanwhile, some examples of district councils are Baling District Council, Batu Gajah District Council and Tumpat District Council.
Some of the functions that had been done by the Minister of Housing and Local Government are provision of adequate housing for all citizens, particularly for the low-income groups. Meanwhile, Municipal Council provides solid waste management to develop a clean and healthy environment. For example, Municipal Council of Kajang collects solid waste in the residential area every week.
In discussing about federalism, it cannot be denied the extent of two government, which is referring to federal or central government and provincial or state government. This ensures that the government known as a federal government of Malaysia remain close to people because the state government argue that they are more in the tune with the daily needs to expression of people, especially relevant to small and selected place like Norbonia. Through establishment of Malaysia, some amendments we are done to Constitution. This amendment is necessary to ensure that Constitution is fulfill the right of Sabah and Sarawak as a newcomer to this federation. This amendment covers the protection of national language, position of negative and both stage as well as the immigration procedure. The special privilege enjoyed by Sabah Sarawak make them look more powerful. Development of the variation in a decentralized and recognized manner and allow for a unique and innovative method to prevent social, economic, and political problems in Malaysia. It can explain every stage was united under the federal government while at the same time protecting their right in curtain jurisdiction. Hence, the division of power can be viewed clearly through Article 74, 19th Schedule, which divide the power into the three, which are federal list, state list, and constitutional list. Any matter disputing power between the two governments should be referred to the Constitution. Discussing issue of federalism, it can clearly be borne that the power of the federal government is more than that of the state government. Lastly, it provides a barrier to the demands of the majority who has a long extent in Malaysia. Through this clear division of power, there are no clash or miscommunication or flee to jurisdiction between both governments. The special addition to Sabah and Sarawak list should to be understood in the history of their ancestor of formation of Malaysia as well as the geographical factor that they have. Therefore, it can be clear not to Constitution conduct the way on both government run their administration, and any clash can be refined Constitution since it is
Federalism in Malaysia also have a weakness. There are 3 examples of the weakness that I can share with you guys. Number 1 is a conflict of authority. The biggest problem that will arise when you have two bodies of the government is a power struggle. This will lead to a duplication of the government and efficiency, overlapping and contradictory of the policies in different parts of the country. Both central and state government are intent to assert their power to the others, which at times causes a conflict between them. When a long term of conflict between them, it can create hurdle in a way to national development and prosperity. Second weaknesses is inequality between a state. The federal form of government allow a regional inequality between states and lead this to unhealthy competition and rivalry between them. For example, instead of educational funding throughout the country being the same, since it is a state issue, some states will spend more per capita on education other than state, causing could be considered a disparity. The same goes for other things as well, like taxes, healthcare program, and welfare program, which is increased regional inequality among the different states. Third weaknesses is a lack of accountability. With the responsibility of the government being shared, it's become very easy to one sector to release a responsibility for the others. This can be a very large problem if something goes wrong. Both sides of the government can relinquish control and responsibility.
So I'm gonna talk about issue regarding federalism in Malaysia and the solution for the issue. Issue is conflict of law in private affair, namely the effect of religious conversation when a non-Muslim married a Muslim. This is a long-standing issue emerged after the enactment of the law reform, Marriage and Divorce Act 1976 that has yet to be resolved despite numerous calls to amend relevant law affecting the Muslim and non-Muslim parties. So, a long-standing interreligious problem in Malaysia is when one of the spouses who are married according to civil marriage embrace Islam, he or she does not have any right to dissolve the marriage in the civil court. Section 51 of the Law Reform Marriage and Divorce Act 1976 provides the non-Muslim spouse can apply for dissolution of marriage on the ground of conversion to Islam. If the non-Muslim spouse does not do so, the newly converted spouse can only resort to the Sharia court. Although, according to Islamic jurisprudence, a marriage is automatically dissolved when there is a difference of religion between spouses. All the state Islamic law provide that dissolution of the marriage must be made officially in the Sharia court. Application to dissolve the non-Muslim marriage can be made in the Sharia court by the newly converted spouse. The Sharia court would be dissolve the non-Muslim marriage, but dissolution
jurisdiction is not recognized by the civil court because the Sharia court does not have any jurisdiction upon non-Muslim. This is a federalism issue due to the jurisdictional conflict between the civil court and the Sharia court, because the former is a court system under the federal government while the latter is a court system under the state government.